You are now tuning in to the Going North podcast with your host, best-selling author, professional speaker, and member of the John Maxwell team, Dominic Dom Brightman. And every Monday and Thursday, we're going to hear the voice of a different author sharing their gifts, stories, and expertise to help you charge forward in life. Now let's get on with the show. And today on the Going North podcast, we're bringing some fabulous humans from across the globe. Today is no different. Heck, who am I kidding? It's different today because my goodness, this wonderful lady right here, we got a treat for you today. Because my God, we had some fun before I even pressed the record button. Haven't had this much fun before recording since the Shelley Knight interview, and you definitely want to check that out like a library book. But in today's fabulous author, this lady right here, international best-selling author, folks. International best-selling author, writing dark fantasy, sci-fi, and LGBTQ speculative fiction since 2000. My goodness, so she's been writing since she's been in the womb since 2000, so 20 years, my friends, with her wildly messed up heroes, excruciating circumstances, impossible decisions, and the happily never afters. Wow, so no more self-help for this podcast episode. She's a firm believer in piling on intense action, showing a little character, skin, and never skimping on violent means to bloody ends. And in addition to writing her own dark and enchanting fiction, this fabulous lady right here spends the other half of her time as a fiction ghostwriter of almost every genre. So I'm waiting for the person who wants to ghostwrite a billionaire Highlander vampire romance book. And not only that, she's also a fiction co-editor for Burlington's Mud Season Review as director of Top Shelf Interviews for Top Shelf Magazine, and is an active member of Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America and the Horror Writers Association. And it gets even better and not butter, folks, because she lives in Vermont. So she's the first ever author from Vermont on this podcast with her lovely husband, their young daughter, and two little dogs, Sadie and Bruce Willis. So let's give it up for the fabulous KH herself, Miss Kathrin Hutson. How you doing today, ma'am?
I'm doing so well, Dom. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing great with 10 R's.
Good. Like Tony. Just like Tony. You rock it.
That's right. You're feeling great.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm surprised no one made a Tony the Tiger reference with Tiger King yet.
I mean, there's a big gap there, though. Like, everything is different between Tony the Tiger and Tiger King. Like, there's just way too much has changed. No one's going to draw the connection.
Okay, maybe it's just me and the way I like to pair things together. I mean, Tiger, King, Tony the Tiger. I mean, Frosted Flakes. I mean, sure, someone's got to eat Frosted Flakes on that darn plantation in one episode.
I'm sure that he did. You know, like, seems like a Frosted Flake kind of guy. Like, who knows?
Hey. Yeah, but it's not about tigers. It's about the folks who want to go to the dark side. And I happen to be on the dark side every day of the skin map, so this is going to be very interesting. I just came up with the thing, skin map.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that the first time you've used that?
Yep, and I am now documenting that via audio and paper.
That was really good. The dark side of the skin map. That's really good. Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. Like a steak for those who hate folks who eat well-done steaks. That's right.
You're making the whole thing just beautiful. Beautiful picture across the board. Well done.
You're picturing every nonsense thing I'm saying at the moment.
I can picture it.
Oh, okay, because that happened with one guest. I'm like, oh, wow, I'm really going to have fun with this one. It's like, this is going to be bad. It's Like if I talk about cowboy breakdancing cactuses, it's over for them if they even
It's
mention
just
that one.
we're gonna get stuck on this. That's the rest of the show. We're done.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
ready. I'm ready for anything. I'm ready for anything. You just let me know. I'll follow your lead.
That's right. And speaking of following leads, you're able to get yourself to the point where you had this overnight success to international best-selling author status of multiple books. So what inspired you to really write, especially in sci-fi?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, so I started. You had the timeline all wrong. Starting writing in the womb. Actually, I started writing when I was 10, and that was just a desire to change the ending of stories that I didn't like, or to make it my own, and sci-fi actually. And that started with the first book in my LGBTQ dystopian sci-fi Blue Helix series, and that switch to sci-fi just came about because I wanted to write about our world in current times through a very near future dystopian lens, looking at dystopia, right? All the things that could go wrong. And when I first started writing Sleep Water Beat, the first book in the series, I started writing it right before I found out that I was pregnant. And then, after that, everything changes and you start thinking about the future and about what's going to happen for, your child and your child's generation and all the things that are coming next. And I realized I had a lot to say about that. So writing about it through dystopian sci-fi was a way for me to bring to light a whole bunch of issues that really are very close to my heart and that I wanted to make accessible to a much wider range of people by melding it in with good story, right? By making it entertainment first, and then, if and when people are ready to open their eyes and open their ears and listen and dive a little deeper, there are a bunch of other levels beneath that as well. That's a long answer.
That's right. Ain't nothing wrong with long answers. That's right. That's right. That means I have to dig. That's the good
Good.
news.
It's all there. Dig away. No problem.
Speaking of dig, that reminds me of V.S. Holmes. She's an archaeologist, so.
Oh yeah. She did you dig with hers? That's you had to, right? Like,
Oh no, that one. What? I don't have to dig with her. It's just I had to dig with my computer because it had bad.
oh
It was just a
no.
bad night. The darn thing had to restart and everything just went
Oh,
wire. And my mic died
that is
halfway
frustrating.
through.
Oh. Did you at least save the first half? Did you get the first half back?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was
Oh,
able to
okay.
salvage it. Thank God.
That's good. That's good. It's just a pain. Yeah, no. I hear you. Yeah.
That's right. It's a pain in the bum, but it's okay because the pain turns into progress eventually.
Yes. Yes.
That's right. And it don't get no yeser. That's right.
Mhm. Mhm.
Ah,
Fully
yes,
agree.
indeed.
Yeah.
Wow, so I jacked up the timeline. Okay. All right. Well, I guess is this the part where I do a random subplot in this whole conversation to make up for the lost jacked up timeline?
I mean, go for it. If that's what's in your heart right now, you just follow your heart, man. Just do what you gotta do.
Nah, I ain't gonna do that to you. It's all about the main plot, which is the fabulous Special K herself. So that's what I'm talking about, writing since the age of 10. My goodness. So have your books been published and I guess inspired or at least completed through Nanowrimo since that's the huge thing in the month of November?
Ah, I have actually not once participated in Nanowrimo. I almost had a couple years ago. And then, having a kid and moving across the country with said very young infant doesn't leave a lot of time for participating in certain writing events such as that. And then by the time that I had started to consider doing an NaNoWriMo event, I was already at that point ghostwriting full time, and I write a book a week for clients, which is in addition to working on my own fiction. And it just felt like I didn't want to ruin NaNoWriMo for anyone else, so I just figured like this not I don't need to do that. That's fine. So I haven't done that yet. There you go.
But it's all good, though. It's all good. Definitely got to have that gold medal in the mommy category. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Got to have that gold medal.
I hope so. I'm still working toward it. That's a medal that you get at the very end, right? Like,
Oh, yeah, when they're in their late 20s and past the teenage years of when it really kicks into high gear, you reach the climax of it all.
it is strange how similar toddlers are to teenagers. I mean, it's eerie. It's just the difference is size and their ability to do more things later on. But yeah, we'll wait till the teenage years and see whether or not we won our parenting medals.
Yeah, plus I'm pretty sure that's a process no one feels like rushing at the moment.
Yeah, no, not really ever. You just avoid that altogether, it'd be fine. But yeah, the way things are working out now, it's pretty nice.
But hey, it's all good. It's all good. And what's fabulous about you, you're actually the third ghostwriter to appear
Oh,
on this podcast. And
very
it's
cool.
amazing that are you still working at that pace, a book a week?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay, how the heck you stay so darn productive? That is amazing.
I'm just gonna call it my superpower and leave it at that. I mean, I've been ghostwriting now for almost 2 years, just short of 2 years, and I made it my full time 9 to 5 in addition to my fiction work. So it's both the combination of both of those things that are bringing in the big bucks, and that I do for my full-time job, supporting my family, which is fantastic. And when I first started ghostwriting, I had heard stories and spoken with the various mentors and experienced ghostwriters who were talking about, oh, I mean, eventually, if you stick with this, you'll get to the point where you're writing 10,000 words a day. And I thought they were so full of it. Like, it was like, there's no way. There's no way that anyone can write this many words in a day. 10,000 words, right? That can write 10,000 words in a day and have it actually be good. Like, yeah, sure. If you're sitting at your keyboard typing blah, 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 like over and over, yeah, you can get in that many words a day. And I worked my way up to the point where I hit 10,000 words in a day. And I said, wow, this is actually possible. And yeah, I'm actually writing quality fiction at this pace, and that's amazing. And now so I average about 15,000 words a day now, and I write 5 days a week. That's how I pump out a book a week for my clients. And my record in a 24-hour period is 25,500 words. And it just comes down to practice. It just comes down to stretching the muscles and dedication and finding a system that works. I write in sprints. I write in 30-minute sprints with 5-minute breaks in between, and take 2 30-minute breaks during my workday, and that keeps me centered and focused. Then I also have a standing desk and a fancy mat to keep my posture correct, and a fancy cushion under my behind to keep my posture correct.
There you go.
And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of what works, what needs to be tweaked. How can I make this better? And I am still improving. I still have plenty of room for improvement. I will be the first to admit that. But I can definitely say that it is not impossible to write 10,000 words of good quality fiction a day if you put in the work. I proved myself wrong.
There you go. There you go. Breaking them limits right there.
Mhm.
That's really inspirational. Prove yourself wrong because it, in a way, it's like that's like that evil little gremlin or demon inside of all of us where we're our
Mhm.
own worst enemies. Like 10,000 words a day. Ha!
Mhm.
I could probably get to maybe 200.
Yeah, you're never gonna make it. Just give up now. Yeah. Oh, I know all about the dark little demons, man. And when you beat them the first time, you beat them once. It's easy to keep doing it.
There you go.
Easier, you know.
That's right. And then you come back with the belt and be like, "Oh crap, she's back again. All right, we surrender. Please don't beat us. No, we're not into S&M. Don't do it. Please don't."
The demons are the only ones that get the belt. Make that distinction right now.
So the gremlins don't get the belt.
I mean, I guess it depends on the day. That's fine. So,
But my goodness, 25,000 plus words in one day. My goodness, like
yeah,
did the
late
Final
night.
Fantasy theme song just hit through your head when you were finished with that day? The victory
Oh
fanfare.
no, it's more of just like okay, we're done now. I mean, it's kind of that point where like this was a day. This was a day, and I'm just I'm gonna take all my clothes off and go to bed.
It's like, all right, time to veg out. I'm tired.
Yeah, it's just we're done. We're done. Final Fantasy is too like it's just too empowered at that point for the kind of just done I am. That's why I say that's my record. You know, that is not the average by any means, and it's not a regular occurrence. But when I'm coming up on a deadline, you know, I'm a master procrastinator, and I thrive under pressure. So no matter how much time I give myself, I'm always, just cutting it down to the wire at the last minute. And that is when I write 25,500 words in a 24-hour period. I wouldn't recommend procrastinating to anyone. If you can, you can find the balance and spread it out nicely and give yourself a break. It'll save a lot of time and a lot of frustration.
So you're the productivity under pressure kind of gal.
I am. I tend to overload myself and overload my schedule, and then somehow still make it all happen. But when I when I have all the time in the world, nothing gets done. I have learned that, yeah, over the last couple of years, through trial and error, and through being so busy I can barely breathe, versus being a new mom with a child who that is being busy enough, right? Like, of course it takes up all your time, but it's not actually doing anything in terms of I wasn't writing any fiction, and I wasn't producing the kind of creative projects and endeavors that I wanted to produce at that time, which is perfectly fine and wonderful. I wouldn't trade the time I spent with my daughter when she was very small at all for anything. But there's a big difference for me personally between having lots of time or being busy with other things. And yeah, when I'm under pressure, I really overdo it.
Hey, but that's freaking amazing though. I'm like in awe of you right now because
Oh, thank
it's
you.
like that's amazing because 25,000 words as a personal best, whichever day or heck even multiple days it may have been, is still amazing because sometimes folks will go to a blank page, you get nothing out. So what do you think has helped you to really produce that? Do you think it was having to stand up with your standing desk that day, or was it the fact that you'd written a few books of your own, or you read so many books and you base it off of stuff that you like? Like, what do you think
Hmm.
contributed to that?
Those are good options to compare with. So I would say yes, having written my own books previously definitely had something to do with it. Before I started ghostwriting, I had written and published 6 books. So, I wasn't brand new to writing fiction by any means. And reading a ton definitely has something to do with it. I am a firm believer in the fact that you have to read to be able to improve your craft in writing. It's part of the research and the practice and the absorption of information and craft. And yes, having a standing desk is absolutely a plus. My husband makes fun of me in a very loving way when I'm standing up behind my standing desk, and he looks at my whole setup, and I've got my computer at perfect eye height, my screen, and the desk is raised, and I'm standing up on my fancy mat that makes my feet happy and not hurt while I'm standing, and my keyboard is at the perfect height to just right in front of my arms, and he's like, you look like you're just going to town, like that's your power stance right there, which is not, it's not really. I'm just standing at the desk and writing instead. But having that versatility definitely helps. Changing things up, uh sprinting, where I write for 30 minutes now and take a 5-minute break. So I am up and down all day. Those 5-minute breaks, I stand up and walk around, do some chores, get a snack, step outside for 5 minutes for a fresh breath of air. So I'm not sitting at my desk for 12 hours straight all day, which is a big help. And the, the thing I would say that is most influential and how I got to this point where I can write as much as I write is just that I kept writing. Isn't really, a very detailed, actionable, step-by-step process, except for it is. And I remember when my commitment to myself to write 1,000 words a day every weekday to finish a book in 14 weeks seemed just, it was unconscionable. And like I was so terrified of it. I was like, I actually made this promise to myself, I'm gonna have to do it. And I did it, 3 different times in 2018, and I wrote an entire trilogy that year. And then I found ghostwriting as a viable option for me and for turning my love of story and my skill with fiction writing into a viable career and a sustainable income to bring in. And I just continued to write. I just took every project that I could get, and I wrote in every genre that came my way, and I tried it out, and some did not work. And most of them did, which is great. I have full confidence in the fact that I cannot write romance of any kind or any subgenre, and that is okay. I know my limits, and I know when to stand back and say no, thank you. I'm much better at writing violence and gruesome gore and terror and anything but romance, pretty much. And I just kept going. Last summer admittedly was a bit of a rough time because I was in my office all day, 12 to 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that's with a young child. And my husband was he's a stay-at-home dad, which is fantastic because they get to have all that time together, and that was something that he had always wanted to do. So they were able to do that, which was wonderful, and I was still overworking myself and trying to stretch my capabilities and stretch my writing muscles. And it was a bit of a rough time, but I knew that I was headed toward a greater goal and a place where I could have more freedom with my time and more time and resources to spend with my family and still be able to make a living off of doing what I love. What is my superpower? That's what I do. The biggest thing, to cut a long explanation rather short, is just that I continue to write, no matter what. I didn't take a break. And by a break, I mean, like, I think the longest I have gone in the last 2 years without writing is a week. And even that was rough. But when I came back to it, I was like, oh, I'm never doing this again. I can't not write for this long. But yeah, I just finished my 54th novel today, actually. and yeah, and I still feel like I've got so much more left. Like I'm still going. I feel like I'm just getting started. But that to be constantly writing every single day. It doesn't have to be 15 hours a day. That takes some building up to. But every single day is a huge benefit to improving and to getting better. And I never ever thought that what I'm doing now is even remotely possible in any way. If my past self were listening to me now, she would say, "You are a liar," and I will never listen to you. But I did anyway.
There you go. The past self gets the whip. That's right.
I guess in some ways, yeah. Oh.
Yes, indeed. Back to what I was saying before the darn mic went out. But I'm just like in awe of you right now, because that's really high performance in action of really being self-aware enough to really know how you work best and to be able to have that power pose that you want to be all humble about, and actually get those words out and really have a set schedule and be able to really help and feed your family off of it. Like, that's really amazing. And congrats on 54 plus books, because we both know it ain't going to be it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, my goodness, 10 grand words a day, 10 grand words a day, 25,000 as a peak performance record in helping the family every day, every day. And what's even more magical, funny enough, this could, if you ever did a nonfiction book, you could probably make this topic part of your book, is like how I got to 25,000 words in one day or something like that. And
Yeah.
really listing how you're able to get your office set up to be able to perform at that level.
Yeah. It's not just the office, I'll say. Sometimes I have to step out of it. Recharge the sanity. But yeah, no, something I've been tossing around in my brain to write about these things, which would be fun. I still feel like I have another section of the story to finish via living it in my own life before I'm ready to write any of my own stories all the way through. Of nonfiction, my personal life stories. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
That's right. I'll be sure to see with all 5 eyes of mine. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All 5 of them.
You have glasses too?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Good. Me too.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I feel you.
I knew this was going to be a great relationship. That's what I'm talking about.
There's no doubt, man. No doubt. And now that we both have 5 eyes, it was written in the stars, man.
Yes, ma'am, indeed. That's right, written in all the stars. And it doesn't even have to be on the Hollywood Walk of Fame either.
I'll probably never get there, but I'm okay with that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's like the goals are different in 2020. Like, I'm not even sure if that's still a goal in
Right.
people's book nowadays, is like get a star on the Walk of Fame. It's like, actually, when's the last time you actually heard about that?
I don't. Just about the last time I heard about Frosted Flakes. The tiger.
But that was an hour ago. This is something different.
Okay, no, I'm talking about before then. You got me. Fair enough. That was well done.
That's
I thought
right.
I was being funny, and you just took that right out from under me. It's okay. It's all right. Let's move on.
That's right. With also ghostwriting, it takes really a lot of communication. So, what is your process if someone was to like on board with you? Someone wanted to finally just delve into some dark, deep fantasy fiction, and they wanted to hire you for some ghostwriting. What's usually step number one?
Oh, yeah. I mean, step number one would be going over process and price and, what my rate is and what my timeline is. And those two things are very cause and effect, right? I write this quickly and I have written this many books, this many bestsellers for clients. And so therefore these are my rates. And we usually have a phone call and a conversation and talking about what they want to do and what their ideas are. And probably about 90% of the time, I am, I'm given, excuse me, a general idea of what a series arc is, um, what my clients want a series arc to be within a series. And then I end up writing the beats for the whole book and maybe sometimes a sample chapter. So like, let's say this is what I would write for you and this would be chapter 1 and I send it in and if a prospective client liked what they read, we would keep moving forward. I honestly have to say that I have I have not taken on a new client in quite some time. I I have a select few number of clients that are just continuously repeat clients, and that's actually the way I prefer it. Just to continue with the fantastic working relationships that I've cultivated, and we know how the process works, and we had a brainstorm with each other, and we can pick each other's brains, and just gonna throw things out there, and they know that I will always deliver within a certain time, and I know that they will always be ready for what I am delivering. And there's that really nice consistency of being able to depend on not necessarily a consistently regular paycheck, right? Because it depends on when you finish a project. But I have developed it to be consistently regular. So that's nice to be able to depend on as well. I'm sure that answered far more than what your original question asked.
Oh, no, ain't nothing wrong with that because details are important. Because he's had a couple ghostwriters on the show before. You're actually the third making it the hat trick for this
Yes.
podcast. And the second one, he actually did a book of his autobiography, and he was talking about how really a lot of it was the art of communication and negotiation, and that was integral to his successful writing biographies for these major names in the music industry.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
this is interesting because you ghostwrite, but fiction novels instead of like biographies and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I ghostwrite just pure entertainment fiction, which is I love it absolutely. And yeah, there's definitely an art to negotiating and long-term contracts or long-term un they're not agreements that are written down on paper, right? But they are still agreements. Let's do this for as long as we possibly can. I will say that yes, my negotiation skills have drastically improved in the last 2 years, which so fortunate for, and I think came about a lot from after the point when I realized that writing as much as I write in a day is actually not something that most people do. That is not in any way to devalue any other writer's daily word count or what they can create. But getting to this point was actually easier for me than I expected. And so when I realized that it's not something that a lot of people get to experience and achieve. That always adds to negotiation skills, right?
Left.
I think it goes to, okay, well,
I'm just messing with you.
agree to disagree, Dom. Like, thank you very much. That was well timed. I have a new book coming out on Tuesday. That is coming up. Pretty much the only thing I'm focusing on right now.
Oh wow, okay. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So she's got, if I'm not mistaken, 8 books out right now under your name. You have a ghostwritten?
It'll be, yeah, this will be the 7th book out, and then I also have a novella. So I guess it's technically like 7.5. And then all the rest are ghostwritten. Correct.
Ooh.
That's scary.
That's what I'm talking about. She's got 7.5 pack writing abs, y'all. That's right. A magical novella, a magical 7th book. That's brand new. That's what I'm talking about, folks. You think
I
all
do
that's
have a 6-pack too. So you just
Oh, hello. All right.
yeah, happened.
All right. I know the husband's happy. I know I would. I'd be like, God dang, my wife is cut. Shoot. All right.
That's how I write so much. All the workouts.
There you go.
Right?
That's right.
It's important. It's important to stay physically active and fit after spending so much time being creatively active, right? That's a balance. Balance it out.
Ah, there you go. So do you do a morning workout routine too to get your mind and body prepared for the writing?
No, that makes me too tired. I actually meditate first thing in the morning, and then I do my writing, and then at the end of the day, I work out. So like an hour workout right after I'm finished working, and it's fantastic because I have no commute. So I just walk out of my office in my home, and then go to the kitchen and do a workout in the kitchen. That's about the biggest room in our house.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but then like it helps at the end of the day. I've been spending all day being like super mental and creative and focused, and then after that I can like drop into the physical and do a workout, and then it helps me actually go to bed on time because I'm tired after that. So it works.
Woohoo! That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, indeed. Probably one of the few folks that admit they have 6 packs of abs on this podcast.
I mean,
Indeed.
hey, it's fairly new, so figured I'd put it out there.
Hey, you better flaunt them abs. I'm all for it. I'm just like, shoot, go for it.
Yeah, you brought up the pack. So just thought I'd add some detail there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Not even a wolf
Middle.
pack either.
I mean, just like any pack. You said 7-pack, I think some kind of pack, and I just jumped on it.
There you go. Jumped on it like it's hump day with the camel. That's right.
That's it. Wednesday.
Ah, yeah. That's right. Got to pray to camels on Wednesday. That's right.
Okay.
Man.
Yeah. I can't.
Hey, don't worry. It's a great day. I'm telling you.
It's good. It's good.
That's right. That's right. It's good with 7 O's. It's good. That's right. Extra good.
There's no cereal mascot for that one though.
Nope, but we do have the special K on this podcast, so there is the
Oh, nice.
serial role model in here. That's right.
Perfect.
That's right. With no love handles, all abs. That's right.
That's 6.
That's what I'm talking about. The fit writer.
That takes balance too. That is not always the case. Just gonna put that out there.
Oh yeah, you can say that again, especially if you're feeling like a forest. Yes, indeed.
Hmm.
I'm just messing with you. So, coming down to the question that every guest gets to receive, and that is if you're to wake up tomorrow and you're 25 again, but this time in the current year of 2020 with all of your knowledge and experience, what advice would you give to yourself?
Um, if I was 25 again right now, not too much has changed.
I knew I should have said 18. Darn it.
In the last movie. Oh yeah, if it was 18, I would have been okay. Don't do this, and you'll be okay. Actually, no, I wouldn't change a thing because it gave me the experiences and the insight that I needed to get to where I am right now. You know, without any of it, I wouldn't be where I am. And I have definitely made some very poor choices in my life. If we're talking, from 18 on. And but no, I wouldn't change a thing. The advice I would say is just don't beat yourself up too much. It doesn't really matter.
There you go. That's right. Leave the paddle at home.
Yeah, or just, burn it. You'll be okay. Yeah, I need to keep that around. Yeah.
Woohoo! Well, that's what I'm talking about, folks. That's what I'm talking about. Had a nice inspirational session with the Special K herself with all of the fabulous stuff that she's doing. If you yourself are looking to have a book ghostwritten, this is a lady to talk to. 54 books, my goodness. 54, I'm telling you. Like, that is fabulous. That is fabulous. And
Thank
she's
you.
staying fit, too, so she's fit and fabulous.
That's the first time anyone has ever used those words to describe me. This is new and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure indeed. I aim to please. That's right. So speaking of move, if folks want to get off the rumps and, or actually, heck, even stay on the rumps and move over to the magical sites where they can even keep up with all that you're doing, what's the best way for folks to reach out to you?
Yes, my website is kathrinhutsonfiction.com. I can be found on Facebook and Instagram at Kathrin Hutson Fiction and on Twitter as Exquisitely Dark. And all of my books are available across the board wherever good books are sold. That's Amazon, Apple Books, Kobo, Barnes and Noble. And I always love emails. I respond to every single email that I get in my author email address, which is author at kathrinhutsonfiction.com. And I love hearing from people. So yeah, you can reach me at all those places and find my books there as well.
Woohoo! Well, there you have it, folks. Check out all the fabulous stuff that Kathrin is doing. Subscribe to a fabulous email list to stay updated, indeed, and support that newest novel. That's right, that's right, that's right. Book number 7.5. Yes, indeed. Sounds like a radio station somewhere.
Yeah. It will be. It will be someday. It's good. Tune in and read it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
That's right, indeed. So there you have it, folks. Embrace that darkness. Embrace it, indeed. Embrace it like you're holding a Moogle. That's right. Embrace it. So, for the folks who still listening, any parting words, Kathrin?
Just keep going. Even when the darkness is all there is. Just keep going. And things will always change. They may not necessarily get better immediately, but there's always change. And also, nothing is impossible.
How's it going, you super special, awesome human? Since you made it to the end of this episode, it looks like you really enjoyed yourself. Since you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it with at least 3 people in your network and tell them what you really liked about this episode. Heck, even shoot myself or the guest an email and let them know what you liked most about this interview so that way they can stay inspired to keep pushing out great work.